When Fire Force originally came out, it felt so unique and it had so much interesting world building to comb through. It was so neat to see how many different ways they could diversify people's powers when they all originated from flames. The first season made me so excited for this story's possibilities, and I gave it a 9 out of 10. Sadly, it started to fall off from there, and season 2 was only an 8 out of 10, and now here we are with the final season. I think my expectations and the author's intentions were too out of sync, which made the story become less and less for me. Fire Force Season 3 starts off with a good amount of recap and spends time reintroducing the characters to you, utilizing flashback footage and narrated explanations. It does a really good job of getting you back up and running after the 5-year break between seasons 2 and 3. I wish more shows would follow this example and provide meaningful recap between seasons.
It was nice to see everyone again and get back into how this world works.
Part 1 was heavily spent finishing the setup for the next great cataclysm. Because of this, pacing felt a little slow, and there weren't that many memorable altercations. The prison breakout fights are not fast-paced either. Instead of doing continuous action, the show likes to have a character perform an attack and then analyze how it went and plan their strategy or converse with the enemy before trading blows again most times.
This especially felt weird, but I guess there had to be a reason to bring Licht and Vulcan along.
Since it didn't stir up much emotion or intrigue, Part 1 was a good 7 out of 10. In Part 2, I found myself asking, do we have time for this? As the story would sidebar away from forward progress. For example, I understand the purpose of the Titans that appeared with the pillars, but I didn't want to fight each one individually, and I'm glad that they skipped quite a few. At the very least, this system resulted in one last cool Benimaru fight before finishing the story.
It felt like all the fights that they tried to cram into the last half was too much, and it lacked time to give weight to the fights. It felt like the only one that they really did play out was Arthur and Dragon, but Arthur is not my favorite character.
We also finally got the backstory surrounding Shinra's birth, and I didn't have him being the second coming on my bingo card. The show went very hard on theology in this final season. But aside from elaborating on backstory, they sidelined Shinra a ton this final season.
It's hard to be the main character when you're stuck in a coma or a pillar most of the season.
And as we got closer to the last episodes, Part 2 felt like a drug trip or mass hallucination. More wacky things would happen and be explained away as, oh, it's just Atala. I'm sure that as someone who knows nothing about Soul Eater, that much of the ending imagery and references were lost on me. Sadly, this made it feel like the show was dragging me through the finish line.
The mixed media was an interesting way to show the difference in ages, but I wish it was more established from the start of the show because it felt very jarring and slapped into this season.
This ending stripped the uniqueness of Fire Force's world away by making it out to have been a prequel to Soul Eater all along. Instead of the characters dying, the world of Fire Force died, and the status quo and the rules of how they lived died with it. We were joking about how it basically ended by isekaiing the characters into the Soul Eater universe. So while I'm sure that some people will jive better with this ending, Part 2 was a fine 6 out of 10 for me.